So in this video, I'm going to go over some details that I created in this scene that I've been working on. It's been a little while since I've created a video, and I've honestly gotten out of the habit because I've been looking for a job. So basically, all of my days are consumed by that. And I'm not looking for just any job, but it's a job specifically in design, to design mobile applications, maybe websites, in UX. And so it's been really just absorbing my days in every waking hour. That, and also I've been working with my brother on a UX project, designing a couple of applications for him. So sorry, I haven't been here for a little bit, but I'm here now. And as you can see, if, like I had mentioned, this is a really popular location. If you've ever been to Japan, you may even recognize it, or at least if you are obsessed about Japan as I am, then you probably have seen a photo that looks similar to that. In fact, this is a pagoda in the background that I don't have the details for, but eventually I will build it. And these are all these are placeholders for buildings that I'm going to be placing eventually. But I want to just go over this particular roof, this gate roof, because it looks amazing. I just am really happy with how it turned out. And if you notice here, I didn't just I didn't use any sort of curve, I guess object or geometric shape. I actually created the curve, and I did it with just a couple of cubes that I extended, and also a half circle. I created with a couple of cubes and a half circle. And what's really nice about Magic Poser, I love that I can be able to create 3D models like this without having to do a ton of 3D, a ton of learning. There's a learning curve to creating stuff on Blender or Maya, or even putting things in other 3D modeling apps. And with Magic Poser, it's just a very quick and easy plug and play. You're able to just take geometric shapes, skew them, and eventually they do have some incredible stuff that they are planning on doing. For instance, you can import other objects or other scenes or other 3D models, OBJ files, and there's other apps that allow you to make custom 3D shapes. And so you could make some of the shapes that are missing and just import them. So eventually that will be a thing. Until then, this is what I do. And you'll see here the way I created. I mean, look at this texture. It's really, really nice. But you'll see that I took the cubes, and if you notice that, let me go ahead and see if I can pull up the layers and just show you a little bit more detail. So here is a cube. There we go. We'll select this cube. This is a cube that is perfect as an example. So what I did is I took a cube, I angled it, and then with the move tool, I was actually able to keep it on a local axis. So you'll notice you have the normal axis, and then you have the local axis, which actually allows you to go ahead and duplicate an object. And once you duplicate an object, then you can rotate. Let's say I wanted to move this object here, and we'll unlock this object here, move it, and then we'll rotate it. Now, this won't be perfect, but let's say we rotate it, but then maybe it's down a little bit, so I'll just move it up a tad bit. You see it moving really, the other shapes there, or at least it's overlapping. And then you can duplicate again, and then once you've duplicated, then you go ahead and move and rotate. And so that's how I did this. Now there's other ways to make a nice smooth curve like these tiles display here, but this was just a simple, controlled area where I just I didn't need to have a big curve. I went ahead and just made a simple curve. And you can do that by just using the move tool and then the rotate tool and just duplicating. So that way you have a line of objects that make out what you see here. And then I had it lined up with, let's see here, I had it lined up with a cube on the bottom and the half circle. So let's go up to this part of the scene and we'll take a closer look. And yeah, so there you have it. That's the actual tile that's on the roof of that gate down below. And let's go ahead and make a duplicate of this as well, so that way we don't mess anything up. And we'll then go to the layers and we'll ungroup it, so that way we can really see all the details that are right here. So you'll see I actually had quite a bit of like, it's a large cube that I actually used, and there you go, you have another cube there, another cube there. Not too complicated, it's very, very simple, and all of this put together so that way it would make this roof tile. And what's nice again about Magic Poser is that once you get an object going, then you just go ahead and make the duplicate other objects to make it match, and you can just line it up just like that. Look at that, already looking like a nice roof. And that's exactly what I did. It's not that complicated. You could literally do the same thing, and you just do what's right for you when you try to recreate it. But let's take a look at some of the other parts of this. So here's another roof here for the rest of the gate or fence. I'm not sure if you would call this part the fence area, but it's still pretty neat that that's all right here. So this was actually very, very simple. All I did was just take a cube, and I'll take my cursor out, and you'll see all I did was just put a cube here and then another cube right here, and I grouped those two together, and voila, now I have, don't want to move that. In fact, we'll go ahead and lock it. All right, so yeah, so like you just go ahead and line them up, and once they're all lined up, then you can group them and then tilt them. And when I went ahead and tilted them, I had grouped all of these while they were basically completely level, straight. And this was of course before the tilt. And when you group objects, they actually will retain the angle or rotated angle that they were in when you group them together, when you originally grouped them. So what I mean by that is, let's say I take this object, and because it's already grouped like this, take a look at this. See, the move tool is completely level. It's just straight like a square, angle. But if I went ahead and rotated it and then regrouped it at this angle, what would happen is it would then make a new level angle on this. So let me put it this way, just trying to think, because there's so many layers in this scene to be able to show you what I'm talking about. But let's see if I can do this. So we'll go ahead and click on this, and just to make things easy, I'm going to rename this all to D. D for delete. But now we have all of this, and we'll ungroup it. Okay, so now it's going to be easy for me to find those. Oh, there they are. To be able to find these objects. And so now I'm going to regroup them. So there we go. I've got everything selected. I can tell that by the orange highlight right here. And then I'll go and group it. And I'll just group it and call it D for delete. So now when I go ahead and highlight this and go to the move tool, now the move tool is on this level square like I was saying before. But it can be really tricky if you're not paying attention, because let's say I don't really want it to be like that when I want to rotate it. Like, let's say I want to rotate it to a specific angle. Well, now my angle is going to be off. Like, there's no way for me to determine if this is the right angle or not, because so this rotate tool has some really neat features. So I can click on the settings here, and then I can go to the local axis, and that's the global axis. This is the local axis. But if I click on this show Euler angles, then I go back to the rotate tool, and then you see the measurements right there. You can see that the measurements that I did are at 37 degrees, negative 37 degrees. I don't know if that's really how it is. You know, if I don't want to come across a hard way to, you know, figure out how I'm measuring this or rotating the angle, then I gotta just make sure that when I group these objects, that they're all at the proper angle that they need to be. Like this, you know, here is the rotation angle, and it's all at 0, and it's really easy. In fact, if I go ahead and rotate this to 37, maybe this is where it was before I grouped it, but you know, it's just hard to tell. So the only way to really fix that, if you make a mistake, is to delete the whole thing, start over, or if you really want to, what you could do is you could delete that. Now this is the angle that it's at, and then you go ahead and open up the layer, and this is kind of complicated. This is why it's easier to just redo it. But now we're back up, and I just select one of the objects, and then I just look at the angle, and there you go, 3720. So yeah, if I wanted to get this back to being straight, what I would have to do, and I already messed this up a little bit, let's fix that. If I wanted to get this straight, then I would just make sure I go ahead and put 3720. I did the undo, and there we go. So now I know that this is straight to where it was, but again, I still have that off. Unless, if I'm never gonna touch this again, I don't have to worry about it. But if I'm gonna go ahead and create like this roof, this tiled roof, I may want it all back to where it was, so that way it doesn't cause problems in the future. But you know, that's just a little bit about how I created that. And so going back to this again, you want to make sure that if you're going to angle it, that you at least start from where you start grouping it where it's all completely level and super easy. This was incredible conversation in the Discord community between myself and another user that's really creative. This, I can't even say that this is 100%, you know, accurate to what it looks like in real life, because you know, it's hard to make some of the precise details without getting really, you know, with really minute with the details. You can see that I made this circle here with tons of different cubes, and let's go ahead and lock this. You can even see that I took an object like this and made also a ton of different angles with the heart-shaped the heart-shaped object or geometric shape, and then I put a bunch of half circles and cylinders to be able to make the rest of this. And it was just really complicated, difficult, and I don't know if anybody would want to learn how to do this, but you know, go ahead and put in the comments below if you have questions about this. I just wanted to take you through just how I made some of this complicated or highly detailed portion of this scene. Now, Magic Poser can handle up to like 10,000 objects. I don't know if I can actually, at the state that this app is in, can create a full recreated scene in Kyoto, Japan. But what I can do is I can be optimistic and be patient until they update the app, because there has been talk of more objects being included, like up to 1 million objects in a scene. And you know, at 10,000, it actually only is 6 megabytes of storage, so they can definitely do it. It's not, 1 million would actually not even be that much, considering how much some of these applications on the iPad or iOS App Store, you know, how much storage they actually take. But you know, that again, that's just a quick little walkthrough. You can see here I made a door as part of the gate. Then I also made a wall right here. A lot of fun. And then I also made another gate right here. You can see I made a lamp post. and then I also made another wall or gate with a little rooftop right there. So eventually I will show off more of the scene as I continue to work through it. Here is just some, bricks on the road, which is not really even much to talk about. But let me know what kind of stuff would you like to see in these videos. I hope that this was educational, and for anybody that really would like to start using Magic Poser to create poses or backgrounds to their illustrations, it's this channel is definitely intended to be a great place to be able to learn how to do that. And until next time, we'll talk to you later. See you in the next video.